Good morning. Welcome to Time in His Word. Yesterday here in Minnesota, it was raining and I was empty, which shouldn't sound like a big deal, but it is in this sense. On a semi, we have what's called, we would just refer to it as ABS. It stands for Automated Braking System. They're in your car, they're in everything. But in a semi, when you're empty, it's more obvious that the system is there because it does. I don't know how the system works exactly. I just know when it rains, I dread it. I like driving in the rain. It keeps the four-wheelers off the road because they don't want to get venture out in the weather. I like it for that, the rain for that. I enjoy driving in the rain. It's just the braking system on the semi, I don't care for at all. I've driven older trucks that didn't have it, and I liked it better. The main idea of it is to keep you from locking your brakes up to where you would slide, which in theory sounds great, and I understand why. But even if it's not raining, but it's can start raining, you know how it's real humid, this system can sense that, and your brakes will, they kind of pulsate like you're pumping the pedal on and off. And it gives you a weird feeling when you go to brake. You almost don't want to use the brakes, or at least that's for me. And then the opposite, when you're loaded, if you apply too much pressure to the brake pedal, it gives you a feeling like the brakes have stopped working because the system automatically kicks in and keeps you from putting too much pressure, which would lock the wheels up. So while in theory, the idea and the system is on paper works great, in reality, to me, I just soon have an older truck that doesn't have the system on it at all. But that's just me. So what's that got to do with the Bible? What's that got to do with our walk in Christ? In 2 Corinthians, the first chapter, verse 4, it says this: who comforts us in all our affliction, so that we will be able to comfort those who are in any affliction with the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God. I take that to be that no matter what's ailing us, God is there to protect us. And at the same time, what's ailing us gives us the knowledge or the experience, or however you want to phrase it, to help somebody else who is in the same, we run across, who's in the same predicament that we are in, or we were just in, but yet we know how to comfort them and help them through whatever it is that's ailing them. That's about the best way I can understand that passage. And while it makes no sense, to me, it's like this ABS system on the semi. In theory, on paper, it works great, but in reality, I don't care for it. But yet, it gives me the experience I need to drive the truck where I know not to apply too much pressure, brake pedal pressure, so that it doesn't do the things that I described earlier. Like I said, just much like when we go through things in life and we're able to rely on God to get through them, and at the same time, when we see somebody else suffering with what we've just went through or whatever, we're able to comfort and help them. In the next verse 5, it says, for just as the sufferings of Christ are ours in abundance, so also our comfort is abundant through Christ. So, to me, this passage is saying that the difficulties that Christ had, we will have them as well, just as much, if not more. But rest assured that the good times will be just as much, if not more, than the bad times. That's just the way I take this passage. And again, like I said, I've never been to seminary school. It's just my thoughts and ideas on passages that I read. And I try and compare them to things in life to help me better understand the passage and share them with you, hoping that it does the same. I talk a lot about where we're at in our walk in Christ and what we're doing to make it stronger and all of that. And it's sometimes it probably sounds like a redundant message every day, but it's not meant to be. The whole idea is to help each one of us grow and have that stronger walk and relationship in Christ, and run across passages like this. Verse 5, I like verse 5. For just as the sufferings of Christ are ours, because he tells us this life in Christ, following him is going to be difficult. We're going to be ridiculed, made fun of, mocked of by people, those that know us, those that don't know us, people that don't know the Bible, but yet they'll know how we should live as Christians. And if we fall off that path, they're quick to judge us, but yet they don't go to church, they don't study the Bible, but yet they know how we should act. But then it's also said, so also our comfort is abundant through him. So, you know, just as much sorrows we have in life, we can have equal or more of abundance of joy by serving him. So just think about it as you go through the day. We're all like that brake system I described on the truck. Weather gets to us, whatever, and we just feel like life's not going right. We can't control it. We're doing things to keep from skidding out of control. But at the same time, we know that if we rely on Christ, his abundance is there to help us through whatever we're going through. And at the same time, we also learn and we're able to help others who are going through difficulties that we might have experienced or have experienced. So it's a continual cycle of being able to help one another through difficult times with his help and his word.